welcome back to this week's episode of the Actors Waiting Room podcast. And this week I have with me Karla Williams.
Hello.
So hi, thank you so much for coming on.
It's no problem.
Yeah, I'm very excited because I don't get writers on very often.
Okay, cool.
So I have lots of questions.
Brilliant.
Which is,
I love questions.
Yeah, that's great. I really had to sort of limit myself with how many questions I asked you because I know nothing about the writing industry, but it really does intrigue me. So yeah, thank you so much for coming
It's my pleasure.
on. I thought we would just start with you giving us a little breakdown as to how you got into writing.
Okay.
And like how your career sort of began really from a writing aspect.
So I wrote first for theatre. And I
Okay.
wrote my first theatre play when I was 19 and I'm 42 now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was part of church. So I was born and raised in a Black Pentecostal church, been in it all my life. And we used to do these skits, which I thought were terrible. And I said to my mum, oh, I think these are really bad. And she was like, oh, if anyone can write anything, you can. And I was doing GCSE drama at the time. So I knew what a sort of screenplay, or not a screenplay, sorry, a play looked like.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, we did some little stuff in church. And then when I was 19, I wrote a play and got all my friends from church involved. And we put the play on in my local high school.
Amazing.
And that's how I started writing.
That's really cool. That was not the way that I thought you were going to go into that. But that's great.
Yeah.
And then so what sort of transitioned you to be like, okay, I can write plays. Now I want to write for screen.
So I was hanging around doing plays for a really long time. But it was always kind of a hobby. Like I didn't genuinely believe I could make a career from writing plays.
Yeah.
And truth be told, the community I was in felt similarly.
Okay.
So it was this idea that Black playwrights come in and out of fashion. And unless you're Roy Williams,
Right.
you won't work consistently.
Fine.
So I just sort of wrote on the side for a really long time. I then ended up doing a short film in 2012, which was based upon a monologue, which was a play.
Okay.
And then, again, it was all on the side, never really thinking I could make a career of it. And then in 2015, I got made redundant from a job at the National Theatre.
Okay.
So I was a sound administrator, and then my role got made redundant. And I just felt a really strong conviction, let's call it, that if I don't pursue writing as a career now, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'd moved back home with my dad. I had some money saved. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this.
Yeah.
And I actually started off pushing a play for like a year. So I'd written a play and I was trying to get it on and nothing was really happening. And then I had an idea for a TV pilot, which was terrible. But I wrote it anyway, just like, oh, I'm just going to write this TV pilot.
Yeah.
Not really knowing how to write for TV at all. And through some miraculous cold calling, I got a executive at, not Warner Brothers, Waterwall Media. I got an executive at Waterwall Media to read it.
Amazing.
She told me it was terrible. She sent an email. So I sent her my short film first, which was really good.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
had done really well on the festival circuit.
Yeah.
So I sent her that and she was like, because of that, I will read your script.
Fine.
She read the script and she was like, it's terrible. And she was like, she didn't say it was terrible.
Okay.
But she was like, because I've seen
so.
your short film, I know you can do better. This isn't working for all these reasons.
Okay.
And there was like one thing in the script that she felt was working. And it turned out it was the one sort of character / story that I was personally quite connected to. So then I turned that screenplay into another one. And then that's kind of how it
The
sort
ball
of
got
started.
rolling a bit. Yeah, amazing. So kind of what I'm hearing as well is that you have figured this out along the way on your own rather
100%.
than going to be like, I'm going to go on a writer's course or I'm going to do whatever, which is, I mean, well done you. That's amazing.
Thank you. Part of it though is, if I'm being totally honest, I was a bit nervous to do writers' courses and stuff.
Okay.
Because I always thought they'd tell me I'm not very good. So I kind of avoided them. So I ended up doing one at the Royal Court, a theatre one, which was called Critical Mass. And I did that back in 2008. Yes, I did that back in 2008. And that was sort of the one course I did. And I've done a couple of theatre ones, but when it comes to TV, I've literally just figured it out as I went along through watching TV shows, getting really great notes, doing some more writing, watching TV shows, someone being like, oh no, your characters need to have an arc. What's a character arc?
What's a character
so
arc?
then I figured that out.
Amazing. And so obviously like you've been able to get some feedback from, sounds like it's some really sort of established people. How did that happen? Like, obviously this comes into sort of the networking thing, which is so hard in itself. Networking is the bane of everybody's life. But so how did you sort of navigate networking within your industry to sort of send out your ideas to and get better?
So I signed to a small boutique agency quite early on in my career, and she knew a few people.
Okay.
So I would sort of come up with an idea. I would write a pilot, which was like 2 or 3 drafts, and it wasn't very good. Mm-hmm. And then she'd be like, "Oh, I'll send this out," but that never really went anywhere. So I did that for a really long time. Kept sending her ideas, nothing would come of them. And then I had this idea that I thought was fantastic, and I was like, right, I'm going to turn it into a web series.
Okay.
So I laugh now because it went absolutely nowhere. So I had these like readings of the scripts to get people involved in donating money to turn it into a web series.
Right, okay.
And then off the back of that, I'm a really wonderful writer, connected me with someone at Sky. And then also, I realised how far removed I was from actual TV people. So then that happened, and I kind of met a few people off the back of that. And then I ended up interviewing to be the assistant for Hilary Bevan-Jones, who was like an Emmy and BAFTA winning producer. Amazing. So I didn't become her assistant, but then I ended up being, she kind of became like a mentor to me.
Amazing.
So then I had an online reading for that idea. And then I mentioned in the online reading that I'd really love to have an agent and kind of work in America. And then she was like, I can introduce you to some people as an agent. So she introduced me to 2 people. And then it was during the BLM summer when everybody was very supportive of black talent back then. So then I had someone else on Twitter introduce me to a producer who introduced me to an agent. And then I had interviews with 3 agents and ended up signing with an agent at Curtis Brown in 2020. And then I had another idea, which was, so the idea that I was sort of shopping around was a comedy, wasn't really getting very far. And then I had another idea, which was a drama that I hadn't really touched in like 2 or 3 years. And then also during 2020, the summer of 2020, another production company was like, we want to hear from black writers who have a drama script. So I sent them that drama script, and it ended up being selected and put into development.
Amazing. It's like a spider web of lots of different avenues,
yes,
isn't it? Of like
definitely. Just
passing on, different bits of wisdom.
I would also say, though, I think a lot of that happened because the climate at the time was everybody was trying to find black talent. And because I was sort of knew a couple of people, had a couple of scripts, I was prepared enough that when I started meeting people, I had stuff to share with them. But I definitely think the climate had a big part to play in it.
Okay. Do you think people are more willing to give a helping hand out to others anyway? Or do you think it's still quite hard to, give someone your script and let them make them read it and things like that?
So my opinion now is asking people you don't know to read a script is quite a large commitment. Okay. Because I think reading script, so like I have people now who I met on social media like, will you read a script? And usually the answer is no. It's because it's a big commitment, so you have to read it, and then I like to give people notes that are actually really helpful. And also number 2, I actually personally don't think I'm the best person to give another writer notes. So I get the best notes from development people, so script editors, script readers, people who work in development, because they actually know about,
well, they've probably read so many.
Exactly. And their job is building great scripts, working with writers. So I can tell you what I know as a writer, but as someone, I've always found the best notes come from development people. So when someone's like, will you read my script? I'll be like, generally now I've got quite a lot going on, so I don't really have the time. But I will normally say to them, try and actually get development people to read your script, because they're in a better position to give you great notes. They'll give you far better, in my opinion, they'll give you far better notes than I will. Yeah, no, that's a really, really good tip. I saw on your TikTok page where you give out quite a lot of advice about being a writer, which is great, and I will put your link in the footnotes of the show, because it's really, really beneficial, I think, to anybody who's starting out writing. But you mentioned, I think briefly, that you had an original idea that was picked up and went into TV development, but sadly didn't make it in. But what was interesting about the clip was that you said that most scripts that go into TV development
don't actually get made.
Yeah, no, they don't.
And like, I want to know like why.
That's such a big question.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this either when I started.
Yeah.
I thought if you had a great idea and you worked hard enough, it'll get made.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. It's just a reality that I've had to learn about the industry.
Yeah.
So I think there are several reasons why something gets made, and a lot of them have nothing to do with the idea itself. Like, it's not necessarily the strength of the idea that determines if a project will get made. So I would also say that having a show made for TV as a writer is a massive amount of work. Like, to be able to deliver broadcast ready scripts over like multiple episodes is a huge ask for a writer. Like, it's huge. And I have friends who've like show run their own shows, and they've told me it's a really difficult process.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. So for me, as a brand new writer with no credits on TV, who people don't really know, are not certain that I'll be able to deliver, you've also got millions of pounds involved in the development and the making of a TV show.
Right.
I think these played a part in why the script only went so far. So it wasn't because it wasn't a great idea. Like, to this day, and people have told me it's still a great idea.
Yeah.
But also the particular idea was quite controversial.
Okay.
So whether or not, my sort of experience aside, I think it needs to be with the right company who can embrace the controversial nature of the script. So what happened with me was the development executive that I worked with, she was great. I loved working with her to this day. She's amazing. But she ended up leaving. So the project was handed back to me. And I guess I didn't find another company who, not were as invested as she was, but were willing to take a chance in the way that she was, especially as me being a new writer.
Yeah.
So the reason why something gets made, I don't know if there's a science to it, to be honest with you. Like, I think there were so many different factors involved. So for example, Dreaming Whilst Black was originally a web series. I believe they sent that to everyone. It didn't really go very far. Then something happened, and then they sent it to the right person, and then it got picked up. And then I've heard Ajani Salmon, who created that, talk about the process. And it took like a year in development to get some of the scripts together. Like, it was a really long process developing the scripts. And some of the initial notes that he received were like, what is this?
Yeah.
They were quite negative.
Okay.
So it was a lot. I say that to say, I still don't know why some stuff gets made and some stuff doesn't.
Yeah.
I think there are several factors that I didn't learn until I was in the industry.
Yeah, and with TV development, for people who like really just don't know that what even TV development is, like, you had, I'm trying to break it down for anybody, is that you had obviously this original idea. It was broadcasted through an agent like channel to a company, or?
Well, no, so that was picked up because they had an open call. So normally TV production companies will only take scripts from agents.
Yes, yeah.
But literally the month I sent it to the open call was the month I signed with the agent. All of it happened in August 2020.
Right.
So they were willing to open their, I say doors, but they were willing to read scripts from black writers who didn't have any representation, which I was. And then they really liked the idea. So then it went into an 18-month development period.
Yeah. And this 18-month development period is like producing the scripts, and then we all read them, or like what entails?
So what happens is lots of things happened in my development, but the process of development is to develop the idea further, and so sometimes you develop the idea further and you end up with like a pitch deck.
Okay.
But in my process, we developed the idea further, and then I ended up writing a pilot script. So my development process was kind of split into two. So there was into three. So the first couple of months we did a lot of research. So my idea was set in the Black Pentecostal Church. So I interviewed a couple of people to help develop my lead character. Then I did a lot of character and story development. So I had to develop my lead character further, and also his wife and two of his sons, because they were like the four main people for the story. And then also we worked on story development. So how will the story play out over
how will it evolve and things like
episodes. So that's what we did sort of for the first or the second couple of months. And then I would say the last sort of 6 months was me working on the script. So before we actually worked on the script, I had to create a script outline, which was super detailed, and there were several drafts in this to create the script outline. And then I worked with Gillian, the development exec lady that I worked with, on 8 drafts of the script.
Oh wow!
So we did the first draft, and all writers now know this. First drafts are generally not very good. It's kind of like the starting point.
Yeah.
My sort of analogy is writing a script is like building a house, and you need to start with the foundations and figure stuff out, and then there are the plans. And then you start building and you find out, oh, there's this we never thought about, or this isn't working, we need to fix that. So that's, to me, the analogy that I use. It's like building a house. So you can't build a house in a day, so it's not going to happen. I mean, you can, but it's going to fall down the very next day. Yeah. So that's why script development can take so long, because there are lots of elements of scripts that you need to work on, which I was completely unaware of when I started. I was like, oh yeah. I remember I said to her, oh yeah, I should nail this in 3 drafts. She was very gracious and kind. She didn't say anything at all, but that was nonsense.
Yeah, okay.
And also on top of all of that, I have quite a complicated idea, which is character driven. So I need to figure out every last detail of all of my characters. Yeah. And yeah, that all takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so let's go on to sort of like the agenting side. Well, actually, before that, let's just talk about it's unusual for me to listen to the fact that you've given an idea and then it goes into development, rather than you writing like a pilot and then being like, this is what I would like to show for it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I wonder if in any world does that happen, where you write things first and then obviously pitch it to an agent or whatever and see what they think about it?
So that did happen with this case.
Okay.
So I had written a pilot, which I then sent to, it was Tall Story Pictures was the company.
Fine.
So I wrote the pilot, sent it to them, and she was like, this is a great idea, and it needed to be completely rewritten.
Okay.
So I think, and also as a writer, you need to have scripts. So you need calling cards.
Yeah.
Because if you say to an agent, oh yeah, I really want you to represent me, the first thing they'll be like, okay, cool, can I read something?
Okay.
So you need to have, they call them sample scripts, to be able to share with people so they can actually see your voice and your ability as a writer.
When you're sending these to agents, how long generally does your piece need to be to send to them? Can it be, obviously you don't want like, I don't know, you obviously want like loads for them to read, but what sort of like a good sized sample for somebody to send?
So I would say either a half an hour or 1 hour.
Okay.
So either, comedy is normally like 30 minutes.
And what's that? Is it like a page per minute? Or?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay.
So like a 29 to 32 page scripts.
Fine.
Or an hour scripts, which is like 50 to 60 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything in the main body of the email other than, I would like to be represented by you? Is there anything that's, because as an actor, when you apply for representation, obviously you say like, this is where I'm kind of from, this is the kind of characters I would play, blah, blah, blah. Obviously seeking representation, then you would attach a show reel with you acting, voice reel maybe if you want voiceover work and stuff like that. What sort of things do you include in the sort of main body of an email as a writer to an agent?
So I was looking for an agent last year, because I'm not looking for an agent anymore. And so I would send my credits, what I've done so far, a tiny bit about myself, just so I'm looking for representation. Credits, kind of what I'm working on, and any sort of projects that are ongoing that are currently happening now, and also what I have tended to do in my new, so I signed with an agent in 2020 and then we parted ways in July 2024, and then I was like right back out trying to find another agent. So I had people I know, producers I know, recommend me to agencies.
Okay. So
I would either ask them to CC me in an email and then continue the email chain, or I would put their name in the email. So Beverly at BBC asked me to get in contact with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Is there any like little tips to give to writers to help them in that scenario? Do you think? Is there anything that makes their email stand out, or just?
I don't know.
No.
Only because
well, it's hard. It's very subjective, I think. Yeah.
It's hugely subjective, and also so as I said, I parted ways with my agent in July 2024, and I had 4 or 5 well-placed individuals in the industry, development people as well as producers, try to help me get a new agent. And I think I contacted about between 15 and 20.
Yeah.
I got responses from about half of them. Half of them were like, a few of them were like, no, our books are full, unfortunately, which is fine. And then some of them was like, yeah, I'd read some stuff. So then they would read them, and some of them were like, we don't quite think we're the right representation for you, which is cool.
Yeah.
I ended up having one meeting with an agent who did think she was the right representation for me. And then the others were just me chasing people who said they would read scripts, but then eventually never came back to me. So I did that for a few months. And I had a really great meeting in January of this year with an agent. We got on brilliantly. I thought the meeting was fantastic. She even was like, the meeting's great. She was like, this is a script that I think needs more development, but I can give you those notes, because she comes from a background of development. And then the trail just kind of went cold. So I continued to chase a few times, didn't get very far. And then it was getting closer to a year since I'd parted with my other agent, and I was just finding it incredibly difficult. I felt like I was just knocking on doors that weren't opening. So I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I gave up. Gave up. I'm on a different path now.
Yeah, and I think that's the same for actors as well. It's that there are many actors out there that choose to be unrepresented because they want to focus on a particular like path, like yourself, or they want to just either make their own work, or make something on their own account, or they want to submit for certain types of jobs that maybe their agent wasn't really thinking that they would go for, and things like that. So I always think it's really good to go through a period of being unrepresented, because it really does highlight and show you as a creative what you want to do. And it just makes you just sort of settle in and go, we don't have to all run to the next point. You just have to go, okay, we're pausing and we're actually going to think about our career for a change, rather than just going, I'm going to grab whatever agent will say yes, and then we'll be on their journey for a little bit. And I think it's always useful to just like solidifies, what you want to do. Definitely.
100%. And I also founded a production company in 2019, and my production company has always kind of been second priority to the writing. Because when I signed with the agent, and then I so the project was in development, then I got a job working, or I wrote an Audible drama, which I had a really great time. So it was Audible and Lambda Drama School. I worked with them to write a drama. Then I had my first credit on a TV show, which was great. I was in a writer's room, which was great. But my career didn't really materialize in the way that I was hoping. But during that time, I was focusing a lot on Karla the Screenwriter, and my stuff was happening with my production company. But it was all quite organic and not particularly intentional. So what I've been doing sort of since the start of this year is really focusing more on building opportunities with the production company. So now I have 3 ideas in development with my production company. So a short, an audio project, and a TV project. So that has been kind of how the year has panned out. It wasn't the plan. Even when I sort of stopped looking for an agent, I still had some connections with production companies and people in development. So I sent stuff to them and ideas that I had to them, hoping they might take it into development. That didn't happen. So now coming up to October, it's just worked out that all the projects I'm working on are with my production company. So I've decided that's going to be my focus for now. That's great. I think we want to talk about that a little bit later as well, but I also want to talk about the fact that you were in a writer's room writing for was it Grantchester? No, so Grantchester, I wrote an episode on Grantchester, so there was no writer's room.
Didn't know that. Okay, but that's interesting then. So you wrote for Grantchester, which is an ITV drama, detective drama, isn't it? Obviously that's something that wasn't your idea, but you were asked to write something for. How hard is it to write for something that's not originally born out of your idea, and you're writing for someone else's original idea, and you're writing, and was it writing an episode or something for them?
So I co-wrote an episode with a writer that's been on the show for like 2 or 3. Well, he's been on the show for like, at the time, 6 years.
Okay.
But he started off as a producer, or was it script editor? Might have been a script editor, might have been a producer, but he's been writing probably, I think, for a couple of series. So I found the hardest thing was to write in the voice of the established characters. So with Grantchester, because it's a crime show, there's a sort of crime to be solved every episode.
Yes.
As well as continuing the stories of the established characters.
Yes.
So the crime idea sort of was born out of an idea that I had. And that was, I won't say easy, but not challenging, because it was a brand new character that we were creating.
Fine.
So I could kind of feed into that and kind of who I wanted her to be, what the crime was. So that was easier. The struggle was writing in the voice of the other characters, which Richard, who I worked with, Richard Cookson, who was brilliant, I loved working with him, was really helpful in. Because as he told me, he dreams in the lead character's voice. So there would stuff that I would write and he'd be like, oh no, let me tweak it, because he would more likely to say this. Yeah. So that's kind of the approach that we took to him.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think that's it. But so obviously that's unusual that you didn't have a writer's room for that. Is that normal that you don't have?
Yes.
Oh.
So a lot of UK shows don't have writers' rooms. So writers' rooms, I'm not saying UK writers' rooms don't exist.
Okay.
But writers' rooms are more of an American thing than a British one. Okay. And they, as I said, some UK shows have writers' rooms, but a lot of UK shows are created by one person who writes a chunk of the episodes. And then they might have someone in to co-write some episodes with them. Right. But generally, they would, like, if it's like 6 parts, they might write all 6 parts. So
in any way, when you write something, obviously you wrote with somebody, but is there just, like you said, like one sole writer? Who signs off on that? Just like...
so producers and script editor.
Right.
And like exec producers and script editor would sign off on it.
I've always had this big, I think it's, like you said, it's very Americanized, that I just think of like 6 people in a room, like SNL.
Oh,
when they like bash out ideas and then they're like writing. That's kind of what I thought like the writer's room was. Oh my God, yeah, that's crazy. So let's talk about your own production company, which is Ms. Mono.
Yes.
Tell us how it was founded and what your aim is to do with it.
So Ms. Mono the idea came about in 2017. So I was working with the director, Rebecca Coley, on a short film. No, it was a music video we were working on for a friend of mine. And we were having pizza one night and we were just like, we should set up a production company. Kind of laughed it off, but then the idea didn't go anywhere. So we came up with a name, and when the music video was finished, we kind of released it under the production company. But all it really was at the time was some social media platforms. I think we were on Twitter and Instagram. And like what's the blog? WordPress? Well, not WordPress. So it was a website, but it wasn't really a website. It was just like a blog. Like, I can't remember the name of the blog that it was. And that's literally what it was. And then in 2019, when I was sort of working on, or 2018, sorry, when I was working on the web series idea, I was like, I'm just going to use a production company as part of that. And I quite enjoyed it. It was, I must say it's fun, but I enjoyed the sort of challenge. And then in 2019, I relaunched the company with like a proper website, new logo, and then we made one short film. Rebecca and I worked on a short film. Then we made another short film a couple of years later, and then this August, this year, we worked on our first broadcast credit for Audible UK.
Very cool.
So what Ms. Mono has now become, so it's kind of, the idea behind it was always to support women's voices. Yeah. But kind of what the company has now become, I'm currently going through a rebrand, is celebrating and centering the voices of global majority women. Is kind of the remit of the company. And we do that across shorts, TV and audio, because as a writer, I also work in shorts, TV and audio. Yeah. So yeah.
Amazing. And how, I mean, again, you've mentioned on your sort of social media page that you said it's very easy to set up a TV company, a production company, but it's very hard to like keep it going. And I'm guessing is that kind of the money side and everything? Yeah. How are some ways that you sort of like raise your money for certain projects and things like that? How do you do that?
So, full transparency, we're still not profitable at all. We've never been profitable. We've been going officially, we were a registered company in 2019. And 2025, we're still not, I think we made a profit one year, but it was like £16. So the approach before was each project, we'd raise money around the project, put the project on, and then figure out what happens later. Literally, that was what I did. So I'm in a process now because I want to build the company to become more sustainable.
Yeah.
I want to be able to hire. So I have hired one person I'm working with now. So we have a development exec, a brilliant lady called Latoya Wilson. Hello, Latoya. So Latoya's with us, but Latoya's like on a fixed term contract as a freelancer type scenario. So I want to build a company to be able to support and sustain myself, as well as a couple more members of staff.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm in the process of doing. As I'm building the company, is figuring out actually how to do that, how to make what our offering more commercial, so that it can be more sustainable.
Yeah, and you do like little meetups as well.
Yes.
Is that still ongoing, or?
Yes. So the company kind of has two halves. So one half is the productions in shorts, TV and audio. And the other half is an event I founded in 2021. Sort of, I think it was one of the second lockdowns. So it's called Ms. Mono Meets. And the idea behind it was to create spaces to have open, honest conversations about navigating the industry with key people who have achieved things in the industry.
Yeah.
I haven't articulated that very well. So, for example, the first one we
certain
had,
like milestones in their career, I
yes,
suppose.
so more established. That's
Yeah.
it. Established women in the industry.
Yeah.
The phrase just jumped back into my head. So the first one we did was online with like 2 casting directors.
Nice.
And one casting director literally reached out to me over social media and was like, I love what you started doing. How can I support? And I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah.
And then the casting director that I worked with on a short film, her and I got on really well. So I was like, would you join Claire and Nikki? Nikki, would you join Claire? And she was like, yes, we will. So then it was just like an hour-long conversation where people could ask some questions, and it went really, really well.
Yeah.
So then I ended up doing 5 more with people in development, agents, actors, writers, directors. And then it came back for another year. And then last year we did our first sort of brand collaboration with Universal Music Publishing Group.
Amazing.
Which was in person. We did 3 in-person events with them.
No, that's great. And I think it's always great to like spread awareness for the behind the curtain moments, I think, of what we do every day, because I think acting's a little bit more public now, because obviously there's so many major celebrities now with interviews and stuff like that sort of reveal behind the scenes of how, you know, we do things on set or, you know, on stage. But with writing, it's always been very hidden, I think. It's very like, people just write and then it just gets put on, but there's so many steps into
like
that, and
steps.
So many steps and stuff like that, like the agencing thing and navigating that and getting your script just in front of the right people, and how do you do that? And so I think they're really important to definitely have, especially for young emerging artists, definitely. A sort of a fun question is that if you have I presume you might have a particular style, obviously, of your writing, but if you could write anything, what would you love to write? Like, what particular genre?
Oh, I don't have a genre. I have specific shows that I wish I wrote on.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
So, Succession.
Oh,
To be fair, I don't even want to write on Succession. I just want to be in the room.
Yeah.
I don't need to write on it.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have written on The Good Wife, but that's no longer on. And also The Good Fight, which also is come to an end. Those were 3 of the shows, or The Morning Show. And again, I don't need to write on The Morning Show. I just want to be in the room.
Just be there when they're doing things. Yeah.
Those are shows that I've admired as a writer.
Is there any like shows and stuff that you're currently watching at the moment that you just think have just excellent scripts, or films, anything that you particularly admire?
I admire the script of Django Unchained.
It's fabulous. That's one of our top favourite films.
It's one of my favourite films. I've watched that film
so many times.
And I can keep watching it.
Yeah,
because
it's
there's always like something new that I didn't see before. I love the dialogue, I love the characterization, and even the story.
It's great.
Because it's like, to me it's 2 films in one. So they're like the first half with Dr. King Schultz and Django and their adventures, and then the second half of him trying to rescue his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm not normally super engaged for really long films. Yeah. But I'm completely engaged.
There's not one moment where they drop the ball in that.
No,
it's
they
just
don't.
so good.
It's brilliant.
It's so good.
I from a writing point of view, I think, I'm also watching Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, first time or?
Yeah, so
okay.
I never watched it when everybody was talking about it.
No, it's great. Yeah.
So I'm new to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And what I really like is how the story and the characters keep evolving.
Yes.
Like it starts off with like Walt and Jesse are this like tight knit unit.
Yeah.
Then they start splitting, and they start splitting. They then have to sort of elevate who they're selling the drugs to.
Yes.
Then that means they start splitting, and then Walt's on the top and Jesse's on the bottom.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the end of series 4.
Okay.
Where Jesse's on the top and Walt's on the bottom.
Yeah.
And Walt's become quite a dick. Like.
Yeah, he is. He turns into a massive dick.
There was a point I was like, he's a proper prick now.
Yeah.
Like, he's awful. And there was this, I think he recently got beaten up. And I was like, it's about time. Like, it's actually about time you got a kick.
Yeah, you need knocked down a couple of pegs.
He did, because Jesse had been beaten up twice.
Yeah, yeah.
And Walt's been like, he's got such these delusions of grandeur. Like, I really appreciated when he got beat up. It was time. He really needed humbling.
Yeah,
he really did.
He did.
So now I'm looking forward to series 5, which is the last one.
Do you know what's also so great about that show is that there's so many levels of tension within every episode on so many different levels. There's tension with him and his wife,
when
he just constantly just keeps lying to her, and you're just there like, oh my god. Then there's tension with Jesse. He's not fully telling Jesse everything. Then and then who he's selling drugs to. He's not. He's like over delivering or under delivering on those. It's just you're like this. It's very, very clever though.
It works really well, and I like shows that keep me engaged throughout the entirety of the episode. Yeah. So the Fly one was a bit like, what is this?
Yes, I'm really with you on that.
The rest of them generally, I'm like, what's going to happen next?
Yes.
That's the kind of TV I like to watch, as opposed to like, I'm having a nap and then I come back at the end. Yeah.
I've started, but we didn't finish it. It's Better Call Saul.
See, I see why that was a spin-off, because Saul to me is a great character.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
But is it not consistently great?
I don't know why we didn't carry on. I'll just go over there. But yeah, I don't know why we didn't carry on, but we need to, because I actually did enjoy it for a bit, but we didn't just really fully get into it. But yeah. It is, I love Bob Odenkirk anyway. I think he's great. But no, that's great. But also, another script of mine that's my absolute favourite, which is The Social Network. But everyone, I feel like this is like a crowd favourite for most people. And I'm wondering if, in your opinion, it's living up to the hype that everyone thinks that it is.
So that's Aaron Sorkin, right? And everyone thinks Aaron Sorkin is genius.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's not genius.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
But how much of Aaron Sorkin's stuff? I don't know if I've seen enough of his stuff.
No, I don't think I've seen a broad range of all of his things either.
So I remember watching The Social Network, but I watched it before I was kind of writing professionally. So I was just kind of like, oh yeah, cool, Justin's in it, because I like Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake.
That was it. I was like, oh cool, I watch it, Justin's in it. And I thought he was quite good in it.
Yeah, he is good
again,
in it.
I'm a Justin Timberlake fan.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I probably need to rewatch it and some of his other stuff. Yeah. Because yes, he's also definitely a fan favourite when it comes to writers.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen enough to be like, oh, I get it. So like, for example, for me, Django Unchained, I get why everybody goes on about Quentin Tarantino. I'm okay, cool, with that film, I get it.
Yes, it is insane.
I'm not saying I feel the same about everything he puts out. I find I don't tend to love everything one person puts out. I tend to always like a collection of things. Yeah,
that's true, actually.
So like Kerry Erin wrote The Morning Show, and she also did Bates Motel. I love The Morning Show. I think Bates Motel is okay. So I'm not necessarily everything Shonda Rhimes makes, I think is genius. I tend to just like different pieces of work.
I think that's very human. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you can expect when someone makes something fantastic like Django Unchained, you're just there like, oh my god, okay, so everything now has to live up to that. But it actually just can't. Like it's just the way that it was so happened with everything collaborating together. It was just a fantastic film. But yeah,
you get like diehard Tarantino fans who are like, oh my gosh, she's the best director ever.
Yeah.
Oh, like I just don't personally have that.
Yeah.
I would never get into a fight about who's the best director or the best writer.
Who's getting into fights about those things? Silly.
Debates more, because people are like, someone's like, oh, ask the question, who's your favourite director? I don't have one favourite writer.
No, me neither.
Yeah,
it's the same with favourite actors or favourite films, things like that. You know, I told the story before, but a while ago my brother was like, what's your top favourite films? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, no, come on, there's got to be some that, and I was like, I can tell you some that are fabulous, like, you know, Inglourious Bastards. I love that film. You know, Interstellar is one of the top favourites of mine, but a favourite film can be so many different things to different people. Like, it can be a comfort show. Is it a comfort thing that you watch? Is it nostalgic? Like, or is it because of the acting and stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? I was like, there's no... So I find it, it's very hard to debate on those things, definitely.
I've heard someone talk about perfect films or perfect pilots. I don't really get into those conversations.
But it's also very subjective that you think that it's perfect.
Yeah,
so.
like, it was a perfectly written pilot, and I'm like,
for you.
Okay, I tend to avoid those conversations.
Yeah, and I don't think they're helpful to the creative at all, because then you seem to think that, okay, that's the structure that I need to have if I'm writing something or if I'm acting in something, and actually then you don't have your own creative spin on it anyway. So no, it's true. But my final question, which I always ask to every single guest, is what advice would you give to any creative?
Sort of like emerging creatives, are we talking?
It can be anything at all. It can be specifically to writers. It is literally anything, any advice that you think is it could be passed on.
So this is completely reflecting of where I currently am in my career. Do it yourself. Like, don't wait for opportunities. So I feel like I spent the first 5 years of my career waiting, because I think there's this impression, or let me speak specifically for myself. I had this notion that if I had an agent, had a great sample script, and then had a TV credit, and been in a writer's room, these sort of milestones to achieve, and before you have them, you think these are so important.
Yes.
And I thought, I have all these things, and then I'm gonna have my career is going to materialize, and that's just not the case. Like, I'm so much more proactive in building my career without an agent than I ever was with one, because I really thought if I wrote something that was really good, he'll send it to everyone, someone's gonna fall in love with it, and then that'll be it. Or I'll get a job off the back of that. Like, I'll get into another room, or I'll get onto another show, and it just did not pan out like that for me. I mean, there are some people that it has panned out like for them, and I totally respect their path and their journey.
Of course,
But where I am now, my path and journey is I need to be building this stuff myself. Like, I need to. I'm not, and it's because I was waiting. I'm not waiting anymore. So I'm so much more proactive in making projects that I want to make, working with the people that I want to work with, and doing it myself, creating my own opportunities. That's my piece of advice. And also, I think there's a benefit in creating your own momentum.
Yes.
Because people are much more likely to get on board once you've already created the momentum.
Very true. Yeah, you have a lot of people that sort of admire what you do from afar, and then that's what gets them interested in you, because you have lots of more strings to your bow, I suppose, in that way.
And also, I think because our industry is massively competitive, and there's not enough time for everybody to be across everything.
Yes.
If you're creating your own momentum and creating your own noise, one, it also demonstrates that you're a self-starter, and that you can get stuff done without somebody else's green light. You can green light yourself. But also, I think that's what raises you above, because the industry's oversaturated with talent. And as I said, so if you're creating your own momentum and getting people interested in what you're doing, it just brings you slightly to the attention of more people. And in the long run, I feel as a creative, it gives you more control.
Exactly.
Which is fundamentally what you want.
It keeps you going on for a bit longer, doesn't it? The waiting game is a big thing. I think I wasted a good 2 years waiting.
Just waiting.
Like, there's the thing for actors that you say you always wait. You shouldn't wait by the phone for your agent to ring, because if you do, then you know what you're doing in your spare time, and you're just going to go crazy being like, waiting for this opportunity. But why wait? And it doesn't make any sense, because you've never waited for anything else in your life. You've always had to go out and do it, regardless of whatever the goal is that you've wanted. Nothing is ever really just placed in your lap.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing for your careers, definitely. But
and thank you. I feel so much more empowered and in control.
Yes.
And less anxious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Whether what I'm working on works out or not, I also now know if these 6 projects I'm working on don't work out, I have capacity to be able to create another 6, and then another 6, and then so I am able to create opportunities, and that is it's really empowering. Yeah, and also full transparency, I also work part-time as well, so that's been able to give me the security that my bills are paid and looked after, because I've been completely freelance and that security was not there, so that I can be more strategic in the projects and the opportunities that I'm trying to create, and I can afford for them to be more authentic and aligned with who I am. So
amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting. It's been great.
I love talking, so it's been fun.